So, how will this case be prosecuted with no body and no murder weapon? Those are just some of the questions on the minds of viewers after Larry Millete was arrested for Maya's murder.
Joining us now to answer some of those questions and more is defense attorney and former prosecutor Michael Cardoza. He's been involved in a number of high-profile cases over the years. First of all, Michael, thank you so much for joining us here on The Four.
You're welcome.
And let's just talk about that point of contention first. Without a body in this particular case, even though prosecutors yesterday do insist that they do believe she was in fact murdered, where does the case go from here? And really, could this be really a sticking point for the defense?
It's not going to be a sticking point at all. There have been plenty of cases that have been tried throughout the country and in California where they prosecute with no body. So I think we can push that one aside. There is no problem. The government should have no problem at all trying this case without a body.
Michael, you said something jumped out to you yesterday during that press conference that made you convinced that this trial has a good chance of being moved to another venue. What happened? Could you explain that for us?
Well, when I listened to the district attorney in the press conference yesterday, and I don't disagree with what she did, she was seeking the public's help. You know, if you've seen anything, let us know. But what that does, because she laid out a lot of the evidence against the defendant, it's going to affect people's minds about this case. And I can almost guarantee you there are some people out there that have already made up their mind that he is guilty. Those people will come in as jurors, and they cannot sit on the jury if they've already made up their mind. And you know the type of publicity this is getting in the county. Everybody knows about it. So when they come in, the judge will ask them, do you know about the case? Yes, that will not disqualify them. But if they tell the judge, I've already made up my mind, then there you go. You're not sitting on this jury. I can guarantee you there will be a change of venue. Whether it will be granted, of course, will be up to the judge.
Let's talk about what led up to yesterday's arrest. A lot of the evidence that the district attorney laid out yesterday was evidence that took place from January 7th to January 10th of this year, so 9 months ago. Why
Yes.
now? What could have possibly led to an October 19th arrest in this case?
Well, what the government did, what the police did, and it was a multiple agency investigation with the district attorneys, they gathered circumstantial evidence. Now, very quickly, circumstantial evidence is evidence from which you have to draw an inference. For example, in this case, they have a video of him moving his car in the driveway, backing it into the garage a little bit, and they are suggesting, the government, they're saying, well, that's probably when he put the body in the car. There's no direct evidence of that, someone seeing that, so you draw an inference from that. That's circumstantial evidence. And circumstantial evidence is a lot stronger than direct evidence. A lot of people think, oh, it's just circumstantial. No, that is very, very strong evidence.
Does it make it more difficult, though, to convince a jury these days? I understand you're saying it's strong evidence, but, you know, we hear in TV shows and movies, it's almost like it's dismissed because it's, quote, circumstantial. We have two things. We have only circumstantial evidence and we have no body. Do those things together make this more difficult to prosecute?
I don't think, from everything that I've learned in this case, I'd happily prosecute this, and I prosecuted for about 15 years. They've got a lot of evidence against him in this particular case. So in fact, I would rather have the circumstantial evidence than direct evidence, because direct evidence often is an eyewitness saying, here's what I saw. And we know that people often see or hear something different. So I think the circumstantial portion of this case is better for the government, the prosecution. But there is a jury instruction that's interesting, and it tells jurors at the end of the jury, if the circumstantial evidence in the case points in two different directions, one to innocence and one to guilt, you as a juror must go with the one that points to innocence, unless that's an unreasonable interpretation. So they will be arguing about that at the end of this case. But again, I think the circumstantial evidence is something that they want, and it's stronger, as I say, than direct evidence often.
Right. This is a long road ahead here. We do appreciate your expertise on this topic. Attorney Michael Cardoza, thank you for joining us right here on The Four.
You're welcome. Stay healthy now.
You too, sir. Thank you. definitely answered some questions for our viewers. A lot of people, like I said, hear that word circumstantial and they think that it's not as important as physical evidence, clearly he said, or witness testimony. Clearly to him, it's more important.
Yeah, and we will see as far as that change of venue goes, because I thought he brought up some really interesting points when it comes to that. You would be hard-pressed to find somebody in our county who has not heard of the missing woman from Chula Vista, Maya Millete, and now the subsequent arrest.
It's all over our news, but it's not just the news now. It's all over social media as well. So it's very easy for a jury pool to get tainted these days.